بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اسمحوا لي ارحب بحضراتكم في المؤتمر
The press conference, the weekly cabinet meeting, press conference, and today we have many news and issues that I would like to talk to you about for the Egyptian citizen to be aware of these files in different files that I will tackle, on top of which is the economic file. Let's start with many topics, very positive topics. As you have been following up this week, I was honored to witness the signing of the establishment of the first factory for the fuel of planes, sustainable in the Suez Canal, which the fuel would be from the oil of food. It is investment from Qatari company which is working that domain, will pump $200 million in the first phase of this project to make this advanced technology. And most important, it had contract already with the international company to provide the used oil of food oil to make the fuel for planes. It is a mega project with modern technologies. We are happy that this project is taking place in the Suez Canal economic zone with Qatari investment, the first Qatari investment in the Suez Canal investment zone, in light of the directives of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the President of the Republic, and his brother Prince Tamim bin Hamad, the Emir of Qatar, to encourage the mutual investment in the Qatari investment in Egypt. It is a result of the Egyptian-Qatari Forum, which was held at the same time and discussed increase the level of trade and production in the two countries. Seriously, we are happy that this project is happening in Egypt with the investment of Qatar. Also, there were signing of a contract for establishing a new complex for solar panel in the industrial zone of the Suez Canal. Thank God that this zone is witnessing great achievements and competitiveness of the international companies to be there and to establish headquarters there. I would be tackling also after that the port of Sokhna. All these issues that we are witnessing the fruits of the vision of the Egyptian leadership. We were saying when we will see the Suez Canal zone, mega industrial zone with real development, not only passing the ships of the Suez Canal. With these new mega projects that were adopted by the President, increasing the capacity of the Sokhna port, and increasing the facilities and providing facilities and incentives in the economic zone, today we bear the fruits of this work and the follow-up, the continuous follow-up by the President on a daily basis, what's taking place on the ground to bear the fruits of these efforts. This project of the solar panels, it's a new company beside the other companies which are finishing already of opening their factories, will be with us to witness the inaugurations of these factories in the coming few weeks. This company today will work on establishing again mega projects for solar panel. And today, if we are looking at the Suez Canal economic zone, we are talking about a success in the last period to gain more than $30 million investments. These investments are taking place and will happen in more than 380 projects with 120 job opportunities which would be pumped in that zone. So we were putting the stone for the atom solar for solar panel. The inauguration of this company, it is a mega mutual Egyptian, Emirati, Bahraini, Chinese investment with $100 million US, mega projects and great work in the economic zone of the Suez Canal. We were also inaugurating the biological medicine and vaccines. It's a great project to provide these vaccines and biological medicines. Egypt was always importing these medicine, but today we entering the manufacturing of these medicine. You accompanied me in Al Qantara Gharb visit this week. We witnessed also the transformation for the textile and ready clothing area with great investment. We had 2 contracts for new companies which entering this zone. The 2 together are exceeding $140 million. We are not saying numbers, just numbers. On the contrary, these are numbers with contracts, projects that will be finished by the end of the year or 18 months. It's providing exportation, job opportunities throughout this economic zone, and Al Qantara Gharb in particular would have exportation for more than 48 projects which would exceed $4 billion. I would stand here and talk about a very important topic, and honestly in this week I was honored to be accompanied by the Minister of Transportation and Industry and Minister of Military Production for the diverse pumps by AHA, which is a part of the industrial military production. This project, the submersive pumps, all the sewage project done in the rural areas and small towns need submersive pumps which are submerged in the water or in the basin of the sewage, which we use to alleviate the water, to be used in alleviating the water and treat the water. Most of these companies are a result that our villages needs treatment stations that would need these submersive pumps. What was happening? We were importing these submersive pumps. I was talking about thousands of pumps. Can you imagine this? That we all need. It is a demand, a mega project for the villages and the water projects. We need these kind of pumps. We used to import it. I would like to say here, again, I would like to thank the President because he gave his directive. We cannot have the Hayat Karima initiative, and we need thousands of submersive pumps, and we continue to export. The President gave directive to the Cabinet. These pumps should be produced in Egypt. We should depend on ourselves. We have self-sufficiency from that industry. There were follow-ups. It's not just a factory that you have been watching, but it's measurement, trials, and be assured that the product is meeting the demands and meets the demand of the consultancy and the Ministry of Housing. So today that factory is meeting the need of the state in the 2nd and 3rd stage from Hayat Karima initiative. Instead of importing these submersive pumps with hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars, I would not exaggerating if I said maybe more. Today we can produce more, and maybe not only for the new projects but for the renovation and maintenance. I have the capability throughout this factory to meet the need of our state. It is the vision of the leadership which is following up and telling the Cabinet to work and fulfill this demand, and we succeeded to fulfill this demand, this target. We have the capability today to move forward in Hayat Karima without importing this very important pump. Today I would like to tell you in that manufacturing and economic zone of the Suez Canal is witnessing great success, and we are depending on the local and the Egyptian mindset and mentality. This would lead me to another topic, which is the Sokhna port. You have been following up this, how this port and the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Transport was having a prize from Guinness World Prize record for the deepest port by 19 meter made by man-made. Again, I would like to talk to you honestly that when we use a plan for the renovation of this port to be on different stages on the time frame of a long time frame, the President gave his directives that this port should be an axis and core and pillar in the Mediterranean, in the Red Sea. It is in a very special location. All the stages should be finished at one time. So today we have at that port, we have 23 kilometers from port and piers. They were having different opinion. Can you market these piers and port harbors? Because of the good planning and good construction and good marketing and negotiation with mega international companies in that domain, we succeeded that this port is having the most important international maritime companies in the world. Today we continue the international economic zone. The economic zone of the Suez Canal is linked to the port, and today from our manufacturing site it is transported to the port and then to any part of the world. The logistics and the transportation, we are working on these domains, and it will be continued and more fulfilled with the inauguration of the railroad of the express line linking Sokhna with Alexandria and Sahel. It would be a very important access. Also this week, and you have been following up, there was a meeting that I held with all the board members of exporters. The aim of that issue is to talk with them about how to double the Egyptian exports. We have the faith that, as I told you in many press conferences, our hope is increasing the exports. Therefore, we have to continue to sit and listen and organize with the exporting management and the exporting responsible to increase their investments in all domains to get the opportunity, the real opportunity today with the good indices, with the great investments, to if they have any challenges, if they are hindering the development of their exports, we as a state, we should deal with and fulfill their demands. So Minister of Investment talked, and as you have been witnessing, that the last year witnessed the least deficiency throughout the past 10 years. That was the result, not because we decreased our import, but because our export increased. 2024, we reached the export of commodities non-energy. We increased our, we would reach 48 to 50 million US dollar of export. The total of our gross and development. The main target of my meeting, the board with the exporters to have a plan for till 2030, the development number, the increase for any exporting management council, all the program, all the initiative programs to reach our target, which we all did put together to increase our export till 2030. Our aim is to increase the exporting sector to a great extent, to provide the foreign currency for the state and reduce the public deficiency and to increase the pressure on the foreign currency and stabilize the performance of the Egyptian economy in the coming phase. There were development in many sectors, like the sector of engineering sectors, housing supplies. The great factories that were established in Egypt that would increase in the coming few years. The ready-made clothing is making great success as well, because they have real competitiveness with the international markets. The petrochemicals and cements and fertilizers, we aim that the percentage of increase in the development would increase. Thus, I would encourage the exporting community and council to have ambitious plan and tell us what do they require from the state to achieve these requirements. And my hope is the success of that sector and all the sectors of exporting, because, as you know, it provides job opportunity, pump investment, providing foreign currencies, all the benefits that we can imagine is what we need as a state in the coming period. With the directives of the President to the Cabinet, we are working on a number of incentives and facilities that would help, that it would be revealed shortly by the President, to encourage all the investment sectors in the coming period, God's will. Also, this period, you have witnessed the launch of the Egyptian new satellite, which is the satellite Spinix, which, in light of Egypt's careness to develop in IT and the information technology in cooperation with Egypt State Satellite and Egypt knowledge in that, in light of the idea of scientific research and how it should be linked, this scientific research from our scientists with the application in that domain. I'd like to talk also about the health file. You approved with me that, you accompanied me in the tour in Al Qalyubiyya in Haya Karima initiative. You have seen the health sector of the family Al-Usra center and the hospital, the great hospital, Merkaz Shabin Al-Anatir district hospital. It was a great health center in rural area to meet the demand of our family and people who were used to suffer to find these facilities. Also, as we met Al-Usra Health Center, I was keen to stand with the people and talk with them and listen. What's your opinion, honestly? It is not a matter of a prepared issue. On the contrary, I was standing with any mothers holding her baby or any citizen to ask him, how do you see the service, the performance of the doctors? How do you see the sufficiency of the equipment? The medicines are provided or not? Thank God you have seen that the citizens were satisfied by the services provided and the human touch that many women were saying, please say our gratitude and to the President. Thanks to him, we were traveling, we used to travel hundreds of kilometers to take this service. Please thank the President. This Haya Karima initiative, it is a great project in the 21st century for the Egyptian state and the cabinet to continue the coming stages, because this initiative is very important to continue the rest of the Egyptian villages in spite of the great expenses because of this project, but it is reflected to great extent positively on the social front and will bear its fruit later. Also in the health sector, you have been following up the meeting with the institution of any of the petroleum company and also the international company of San Donato for health care. this meeting were to follow up what we have been agreed about by the president, with any president. The president of any talked to the president and had a plan within our social responsibility for our company, for our project in Egypt. We have a fund to be spent on the social projects. So the president gave his directive for any president, please follow up and direct the hospital in Egypt, not only one hospital, but more than one hospital, so that the institution would fund and work on these health institutions and bring the best doctors, foreign doctors, who can help with the Egyptian doctors to provide the best service for Egyptian citizens for free. So this institution is spending and funding within its social responsibility. The idea is a number of hospitals would be adopted by this mega company, and would be responsible for providing the best health service that if the citizen is needing, might need to travel abroad, but it would be here in Egypt with international doctors in parallel with Egyptian doctors, hand in hand, and it would be funded by international institutions working in Egypt. So we witnessed and follow up in that meeting the agreement to start the working project and the real steps in that project. To let you the chance to ask questions, I would listen to, I care about answering your questions. Go ahead, please. We have been waiting for years. We didn't listen about submerged, the drowning of illegal immigrant boats. And the cabinet had initiative to stop the illegal immigration. 2 days ago, a boat, legal immigration boat, sank and 14 Egyptian citizens died. The efforts, I would like to know about the efforts of the state to stop the illegal immigration. Would be their laws to prevent that. We succeeded as a state to stop any boat exiting the borders of Egypt. But the idea of illegal immigration, unfortunately, is not related to Egypt. It is related to the African continent. Today, there are a number of places on the coast of the Mediterranean in neighboring countries. Because of no security, the boats go out. Today, the problem is some citizens who are running after the idea of immigration and getting wealthy from other states. They do not go out from our borders, of our maritime border. They go out by land border and take the boat from other countries to immigrate. By God's will, we succeeded to a great extent by 99%, 99.5% to stop the exit of any illegal immigration boat from Egypt, 100% almost. But I would not want any boat to go out, so you said 100%. But we stopped from our borders. But our borders with our neighbor states, thousands of kilometers. So it makes sense that some people are running after that. We are very firm with any groups or gangs who are working on these matters inside Egypt. We work harshly to stop these gangs. But the idea that some people go out with the dream to immigrate and cross the land border can happen, and we can listen to these accidents, but it would remain very individual and very limited accident. 10 years ago, it was totally different. It was in Egypt with what happened. It was a kind of trade, but we succeeded to stop that. And an individual accident that can happen every now and then. And throughout, it happened from other neighboring countries. It is related not only to Egypt, but to other nationalities. They are running for that, after that dream. Go ahead, please. In light of your meeting with the heads of exporting community and lead that Egypt witnessed in the field of manufacturing, we have targets? $50 million that we did reach. We have other expectation next year and to fulfill a dream of $140 million at a particular time. Sir, with all sectors, the total growth should not decrease than 15 to 20%, 15%, the minimum for any exporting center. I am talking about services and products. Services of the people who are working in companies and get paid by dollars. Tourism is services. We are not talking about also the exporting of commodities, but all the export, even commodities or non-commodities. So the target of 145 billion could be applied in Egypt, could be reachable in the date of 2030, or maybe it would be late 1 year or something. But we are working with great efforts with all the sectors, the promising sector in that field, to reach that. I cannot wait for more 4 years to see if the number is achieved or not. I work yearly and I put number and targets, clear targets. If I fulfill, I rest reassured that we would reach our target the year after. If we have a problem in any sector, we deal with this problem, not to delay our dream in that matter. I am telling all Egyptians, God's will, Egyptian state would be capable to exceed that number at that date, God's will. Go ahead, please. Thank you, Prime Minister. The Egyptian state is taking great care for the agriculture or land reclamation or the seeds. There were a number of citizens in Asyut who had the contract with the development of the irrigation to have lands, the small investors. But for more than a year, they didn't get these lands. My question, the state plan to support the investors, especially as you are supporting these investors, in addition to increasing the land reclaimed. Of course, we link this issue of providing land reclaimed. We should all know, providing reclaimed land, I am not giving land with no services and infrastructure. The land reclaimed, the previous experiences that we would give land with no facilities, and we leave the citizen to provide the facilities, we did witness the citizen to have many problems. The least is the citizen himself cannot have the infrastructure and the facilities, and it had huge impact and huge burden financially. We focus as a state to have a comprehensive plan for providing the land reclaimed for land reclamation, the service land for land reclamation, even if the witnessing of some delays is related to finish the services. It is easy to give the land to the citizen and leave him with no services. And I tell her, work with no services. What will happen? He will come to me back. I cannot have electricity. I have no wells. I have no roads to transport me to the land. So the service should be provided by the land. So we witness some delay. The vision is to have a centralization for these big projects to provide the facilities. It is beyond the capabilities of any citizen or even any private company. If we looked like a project for Reef of Egypt, the New Delta, and all these projects and we see the value of these treatment of water. We have the biggest treatment station and pump water, and have a network for irrigation and network for electricity. All these, the value of the one Faddan from 250 to 300 pounds. If I left it to any private sector, no one would be capable to do so. So our work, and again, in the coming 2 years, will bear the fruits of the new Delta and the mega projects adopted by the state in that domain. Without these investments, we would not have bear the fruits of that. These projects, we are following up, the President is following up by himself for having the infrastructure for these projects, and I have meeting with the minister and the officials responsible. The challenge here, which remains in Egypt, is the challenge of water. We have a challenge to when there was a planning for the development of Egypt 2052, and we found through our study 25% of Egypt is ready for being cultivated, but the problem is the water. Do we have the sufficient water to cultivate this land? We don't have. So our effort in the past period is how to benefit from each drop of water, how to treat the sewage water and irrigation, to use the water, how to rationalize the network and the canals, and there were great losses, the great projects to use the land to be cultivated. It is not a dream. We are talking about 2 to 3 years, God's will. Go ahead. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you. There were a meeting in the past days by the cabinet that you talked that the state is ready, the cabinet is ready to find solution for the financial problems of Maspero. We want to know what are the solutions and the highlight of these or the visions to not to have problems and financial problems. Another question is the phenomenon of having sexual abuse for children in schools. There were a vision by the state to have solution and solution for firm stances against these schools to face these crimes. The state solution for this crime before reaching the law or judiciary. Let's talk about, these are very important questions. The first question, what is concerning problems of Maspero? I follow up with all the head of the council of National Council, the media, to move from tranquilizer stage to find a rational and radical solution. The state is responsible and taking the responsibility of keeping this institution. Our aim is to strengthen these institutions and to return to its important role, not only in Egypt, but in the Middle East and the Arab world. And therefore, these institutions are having many financial problems and debts because these institutions were not capable to pay their obligation to the states. So today, what I do as a state is every month the press institutions is supporting, the Ministry of Finance is supporting every month, because we believe in the duty of these responsibility and the importance. We want to see an effectiveness and the influence in the streets. So our aim that I have asked from the heads of the two institutions. So we want an economic solution for the sustainability of these institutions in the coming phase. What is the capabilities of this institution in light of the existing capabilities? How you can, through the development, the renovation and the development plans, to rationalize the funding. So I want to see any other accumulation. I want to see an example model in the coming phase, how these institutions are capable to go on without the support of the state. According to this vision, how we would help in solving the problem of the old problems. This is simply what we are working on with these institutions. We move to the other topic that you have tackled, which is a very important one. The last period we witnessed some accidents, and I held a meeting that you have been following up with us. The headline was, we sit with Minister of Endowment and the Culture and Sports and Youth and Interior and Institution to discuss what we say is the changes that is happening in the behavior in the society in Egypt. And I was honored to be present in a narrative by the Egyptian army, how to face the deviation in the society in Egypt. Let's say that in spite of these accidents that we have witnessed recently, thank God, we are away from seeing that it is a phenomenon, it is representing a number. But on the personal level, I'm worried that even an individual accident is happening because it is a new attitude on our behavior, on our culture. For us, as Egyptians, we were always abiding by religion, by ethics. So even if these accidents are individual, it's alarming. We have to move on. It is not also about punitive measures only, but the state, when the accident is happening, the movement is on the spot, on the judicial front. The decisions are very firm. How to avoid these kinds of accidents in the coming period. So the idea of having a strategy from all the ministries, which include all the sides, sports, health, youth, religion, it is very important, religion, Islamic religion or Christian religion, how to talk to our youth, our children, about these issues, and the culture in general, how we increase the awareness of some of the practices that it should not happen, and encourage our children to be away from these practices. There are our guidelines for the ministry to work on concrete steps to avoid these kinds of accidents that, again, even if it's one or two accidents, it is harming us as Egyptians, and we would not willing to see these kind of accidents in our society. I would like to assure that this issue is not a phenomenon, because we like to magnify the issue. It is not like this. It is not a phenomenon. I would like to assert any accident today is highlighted, but we are in still individual accidents. But we as a state and the cabinet, we don't want it to happen, so we work on preventative matter to be sure that this matter won't happen again. Go ahead. Good afternoon. The cabinet every now and then is launching initiative to improve the citizens' lives, like Haya Karima initiative, schools, the shaders in Ramadan to sell commodities, how you can help citizens to get over poverty. What's the numbers? No concrete numbers were provided. The numbers are changing and dynamic, meaning we are counting on which base. The last numbers on 29 to 30%. Of course, what we have been through during the past 2 years with the changes, the economic changes, should increase the number. But the most important is the steps that we take. Is taking the path to decrease? Yes. We know that we pass through a very critical and unique stage. All is seeing an improvement, but we want the citizen to feel more this improvement. How he can feel it? When he will feel it? When his income will fulfill his needs. So we are working on the two lines to decrease the number of commodities and increase his income. The inflation in this month, the decrease of inflation because of the decrease in the commodity prices. And some of these commodities are linked that some of the traders are complaining. We are keen that this industry does not fall. So there should be a balance, not to reach a point that the people stop working on these projects. So I would like to assert to you that we are looking to that matter clearly. The state is taking it as a priority. We are taking it to a declining path to let the citizen to feel in the coming period to bear the brunt, to take the fruits of this development. And we witness a hard phase, and we witness the increase in the pricing of fuel and energy. We want to take the inflation to a decrease, so the citizen should feel the improvement. So our estimation that 2 to 3 years hopefully will witness a leap and improvement in the services and in providing the good life for the Egyptian citizen. Go ahead. Good afternoon, sir. Yesterday you had the cabinet meeting for handling the export and foreign debt. What's the plan of the government to rationalize the foreign debt and exchange the debt with investments? We listened about the exchange of debt with investment. There were conflicting ideas by the different experts to decrease the number of issues at the state. There were some concern, international concern, that it has a great burden. What's our plan regarding the exchange of debt with investments? The foreign investment is still safe till now. I thank you for this question. This issue is our main concern as economic group for the cabinet with the ECB, how to work in the coming period to decrease the foreign debt. All the debt, general debt, either the national or the foreign. If I talked about indices, the index of the foreign debt, we were tackling this issue yesterday. Last year, the safe border of any state, which is equivalent, like Egypt, is Egypt as a medium state, is between 40 to 40% of the GDP. Last year, we were 44, so we are in the safe area. But yesterday, we were discussing our target for the new year. And thus, we agreed yesterday, we approved to reach 40%, to decrease to the least number of the indices, which is talking about by the medium range of the international institutions. I asked my colleague to also try to decrease the number than 40%. and the stability of the foreign currency, the governance of improving new debts. The new debts basically is for the basic needs of the states, which is the fuel, the energy, the food, the basic needs for me as a state that I take debts for, the basic needs of the state. We decrease sometimes, which is a financial issue known by the financial, that I exchange debt for debt. If I have a debt, it would be due with high interest. I exchange for other debt, which is giving me a chance to increase the limits with better demands, and it doesn't increase the total value of the debt. Yesterday, we agreed for a ceiling for the foreign debt, which would let us, for the foreign debt by the end of the fiscal year, 40% of the total GDP, so we would be decreasing from 44 to 40, and I asked also to review for a more decline than 40%. And I assert that for exchanging the debts, it is one of the mechanisms which is very successful and non-traditional for getting rid of your debt, because you transform the debt that you should pay back to the institutions, and it is a debt, you turn it into projects or investments. So the states that indebted it is telling you, take the money and transform it into a project for the service of the citizen, Egyptian citizen. So we succeeded in that. Egypt is only one of 7 countries who succeeded in exchanging debts. So we are moving in that with very good steps with Germany, Italy, and other, China, and other states. We discussed these issues, and it has many benefits, and God's will would continue to work on that matter in the coming phase. I would like to assure all of you that we are targeting to decrease the foreign debt in the coming period as from part of the GDP to, it is given by the international institution, the safe limit is 40 to 45, would like to reach 40, and God's will would decline than 40. Go ahead, please. As the 2025 year is ending, is there a possibility to have the incentives here and subsidy to be transformed to financial? Today and maybe next week we'll meet for social justice to finish the logistic planning for that matter and to start the application. I would like to assure that this matter, it is very sensitive matter, so we should be sure about the mechanisms and the technicality of the application, to be assured that there are no violations, no problem in the application. Because today it is, the matter is stable, the citizen is taking his subsidy, his concrete subsidy, not the way we want. We should provide more. It should be, there are some violations, some people do not deserve it, but it is not affecting the people who deserve it. So transform to a new system, should be reassured that no one should be harmed. None of the people who deserve should be harmed. The Social Justice Committee would meet to discuss the final question. Go ahead, please. Allow me, Mr. Prime Minister, that you highlighted some sectors that could be affected by the decrease of some services like the electronic equipment. How we can be affected by some decline, because not any sector should not be affected by any, the economy should not be affected. Not only there are violations in schools, not only in schools but in houses as well. the state is feeling that how the plan should increase the awareness how to deal with people should deal with each other. Even wives in houses, the speeches in Jum'ah, in mosques, how should be used. The curriculum in the schools, it is based on different generations, how the new generations should have good ideologies and good behavior away from these deviated behaviors. I would like to talk about the problem, the economic problem. This week I held a meeting that tackled the recession and how we tackled with the developers and the real estate developer. Please follow up with the international community. There was a report in the United States and Europe who are the highest income in the world. The reports are showing there are inflations, there are problems and of financial capabilities for families in these countries, and they are not capable to continue their financial pattern because of the inflation and the increase in pricing today. In light of an international circumstances in Egypt, we might be witnessing, as I discussed with the Exporting Council, is there any slowing down in the purchasing of certain commodities? You give an example for, and I would give another example. I would talk freely. People are talking about electronic equipment for houses and the long-lasting commodities and the real estate. They are comparing with 2024. 2024 was a particular year, and we pray God that it would not be repeated on Egypt. The end of 2023, the beginning of 2024, there were the issue of the black market and the forex pricing and the price of the dollar, which would reach 100 Egyptian pounds. So any citizen who had any amount of money, he was scared. He felt that this amount of money has no value. So I have to put it in something to protect it. So according to the income of any family, he was going to buy housing, electronic equipment, long-lasting ones. If I resale it, it would increase the price. Others did buy real estate. The people with huge amount of money were buying real estate. So what happened in 2024, I cannot take it as a model for the market in Egypt. So the real estate market, and I had a meeting with the developers. If you exited the number of 2024, our sales in 2025 are better than 2022 and 2023. Therefore, we as a real estate sector, you cannot give 2024 as an indicator. We are better. For the electronic equipment, the citizen today, the normal citizen, is reassured that the pricing are stable, and on the contrary, he can see competitiveness. The pricing can decrease. So there is no will, there is no hurry to buy my demands. So the idea that I buy and to keep it or trade to protect my money does not exist. So within the framework, the right framework, we are following up. And we are following that the matter are not reaching recession. There are some slowing down compared to the previous year, which was special. But what I am reassuring that the wheel is moving, but we are listening and we are seeing what could be done for this manufacturing. What you have said about the crimes in the houses and domestic violence and violence against women. Again, what's happening for us is alarming for the change in the behavior, the culture in the Egyptian society. So it is not only, as you have said, or I said, it's not only related to punitive measures. We have the punitive measures and the law, and punitive action. But what is important, deterrence exists, but our talk is how the speeches in Friday or the speeches in the churches on Sunday to increase the awareness. The curricular in schools, there are directives by the Minister of Education to include these topics clearly in the curricular in Egypt, in the education system, to teach our children today. If we do not put this and specific topics, different cultures, the culture of two genders, and how to deal the woman and the man, female and male, if the handling of that were not put in the curriculum, the social media could show the children wrong ethics that we should put in the value of our kids. With these kind of technologies worldwide, which is alarming in the whole world, it should be faced by the education since the early childhood to have our children aware. There were directives by the Minister of Education of including these in the curricular, and proper behavior should be included. Minister of Endowment also included that. He talked about that with cooperation with the Egyptian Church, the religious discourse should be clarified to our children, for our families, not to turn it to a phenomenon. God's will. I thank you all so much. Until next week, thank you so much.